Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. It's Joe, and it's time for a Puck It with Joe over here on SportsGrid TV. Okay, sorry we are late. I've been having major issues with my camera. It didn't want to turn on, but it is working now. So we can kick off right away. Only 2 games on the ice tonight, and we've got a lot of unknowns really here with some goalie situations. So we're going to talk about those, have a look at those. I do have some good feelings though on today's 2 games and where I'm going to put my money. So let's break down the first one here. The first one, we got the New Jersey Devils. Now, the New Jersey Devils, let me just move my screen here. The New Jersey Devils are taking on the Washington Capitals. Now, the Capitals on that back-to-back, and we're not worried about this team on a back-to-back. They're coming in at plus 138. We have the Devils a favorite on the road at minus 170, total 6.5. That's 6.5 juice to that over just slightly at minus 112 to the over. I do expect this one to the total wise. We're looking at 2 goalies here. So we have Dawes coming out for the New Jersey Devils. He was fantastic. We saw him out versus the Ottawa Senators. He saved 25 of 27 shots on goal. So he's got a 2.00 goals against average, a save percentage of 0.926. I do expect him to maybe show a little bit of regression from that first performance. That was an incredible first performance. And if he can replicate that here, it's going to be outstanding, but I'm not sure if he can. And same with Hunter Shepherd. Hunter Shepherd is going in net tonight for the Washington Capitals. Looking at him, he's 2-0-1 on the season. He's got a 2.27 goals against average, a save percentage of 0.926. He won his NHL debut, and it was actually versus this team, versus the Devils. Now, those goals did come in that one, though. It was a 6-5 win in that. He stopped 22 of 18, or sorry, he stopped 18 of 22 shots on goal. So it was a very good showing for him. I expect both of these goalies to allow more goals than we would expect if Vanacek was in. So I'm going to take this one to the over. I am leaning there. You also look at the New Jersey Devils. This team's so strong offensively. Dougie Hamilton's still out of the lineup for them. So I do think it presents a really nice opportunity here for the Washington Capitals to be able to capitalize on him off the ice. You look at the Capitals here. This team is actually scoring. They're averaging a 2.34 goals per game. I thought they were above the 3 when I first was thinking about them. But this team, we look at them in their last couple games and the goals they've been able to produce. The Washington Capitals blew that under last night, and they blew the under in the first period as well, getting 4 goals right away. So they've been really strong. I really like what we've seen out of them as of late, and I think they can get this win. Now, when we look at them versus the New Jersey Devils in that first period, they have won the last 4 first periods versus the New Jersey Devils. So you can get them here on the money line in the first period at plus 128, and I think it is an awesome way to go with this one. Now, if we're looking at player props, I'm going to look again at Ovechkin. We took Ovechkin last night. He made us at plus money, and I do think Ovechkin is just playing so hot right now. Taking Ovechkin for the anytime goal coming in at plus 145. I do think this one has every opportunity of going to overtime. Taking this game to go to overtime is coming in at plus 390. 3 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams has gone to overtime. And we got a battle of the Metro here. Only a couple of points really separating these two teams. So the Devils are sitting 6th in the Metro. The Washington Capitals are sitting 5th. So this is going to be a battle. And I would love to say it because it's such a battle, the Metro, that it stays under, but I just can't see a way because I do think both of these goalies have a tiny bit of regression. With how strong offensively the Devils are, the Washington Capitals are going to have to keep up, but I do expect a 4-3 win here for the Washington Capitals in this one. Let's make some money, you guys. Again, big apologies for the show being late in this one. The both teams to score for the plus money in the first period, I actually like that. I do think we're going to see those goals come in off of these goalies pretty quick. Devils Capitals over 6.5. You're going there as well. I think you have to. You bet the jerseys. Oh, the New Jersey Devils. Yeah, it's hard. I could see the Washington Capitals coming out and scoring first as well. You've also got to look at the fact that the Devils haven't played in a while. They haven't played since that game versus the Bruins. They did lose to the Bruins last Saturday. It was a 5-2 loss. I know everyone gets worried about the Capitals on the back-to-back, but they haven't let us down this season. I think that first period, if you got the Devils for the full game, it definitely could cash. I'm just looking at the Capitals. Like, I love that first period. I do think they have every opportunity of winning it as well, just because we look at their current form and how they've been playing in those games on the back to back. But I would, yeah, I would look at that first period more than anything. The second and last game on deck, and we've got a full slate tomorrow, you guys. So make sure you join me back here. I will be on time tomorrow. Sorry about the camera issues. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Anaheim Ducks play tonight. Toronto also on a back to back. They're rolling in here at minus 210, so $2 favorite, plus 172 for the Anaheim Ducks, total 6.5. Now, plus money to the under 6.5 if you're brave enough to take it versus Toronto's defense. It has been allowing these goals to come in. I'm not sure if I could do that. Minus 144 to the over. I don't love that juice on the over. I do think we could have both of these teams getting off maybe to a fast start here. Now, the question mark is around the Toronto Maple Leafs goaltender, Dennis Hillaby will be in net. Now, he's been brought up from the AHL. He's a 22-year-old. He was picked in the 4th round of the draft by the Leafs in 2022. So debut goalies, they either stand on their head or they completely fall apart. He's still listed as expected. It's not confirmed. So we'll see how he does. Now, I'm going to look at what do I trust in this one? Well, I trust the Toronto Maple Leafs to be able to score those goals. We know how strong this team has been offensively, averaging 3.51 goals per game. They have a really strong power play, converting at 32.4%. Their kill is average 78.3%. And we look at the Ducks team. They're allowing John Gibson, their goaltender, in net to be just peppered with shots, allowing 32 shots per game. I do expect this one to be a hard one for John Gibson to be able to keep that puck out of the back of the net. And I know Toronto is on that back-to-back, but even if the Ducks come out and win it, I can't see this being a game where Toronto doesn't go over their team total. Their team total coming in at 3.5. Now, this is juicy at minus 148. But then we look at the Ducks. The Ducks team total. The Ducks team total coming in at 2.5 minus 145. Again, we're going to have to lay that juice. It seems like every single which way we go here, the books are getting us. I do expect a high scoring one. It almost feels kind of a trappy game in this with Toronto. We know that Toronto, they show up and then they don't. So we'll see what Toronto is able to produce in this one. You look at that road puck line, it's 5-11 on the road on the puck line versus the Ducks, who have been strong 10-10 at home on that puck line, 20-16 overall. I do think this is probably a situation where they can cover this puck line, but plus 1.5 again is minus 140. And if I'm going to put minus 140 on a team, I really don't want it to be the Ducks. That first period over 1.5, again, minus 156. I do think the Toronto Maple Leafs first period puck line is the only way that I really want to put my money. I expect them to get off to that hot start in the first period. We won't have to deal with the tired legs second and third period if we just take the first period puck line. That's coming in at plus 126. So you guys, that is what I'm liking tonight. I know, long story short, you are so welcome. I hope you guys cashed big time yesterday. There was so much plus money coming in last night. It was just crazy. Now there was games that we absolutely did not get. I did expect more out of the Kings last night. They didn't show up. We had some games that we had the under, go over, and everything like that. So hopefully you guys catch some good money, especially on Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby. I tell you, Ovi and Sid getting those anytime goals, that was just brilliant in that game. Minus 140 is too high for you as well. Yeah, and I agree. The minus 140, I just don't like laying that kind, especially on a team that I absolutely don't trust. Like if I was looking at maybe the Boston Bruins at minus 140 to beat someone, that might be something I want to lay, but I don't want to grab the Sharks plus 1.5 at minus 140 on the puck line versus Toronto. I don't love that there at all. Yeah, it's always plus money. That's where we've got to look, especially in hockey. You guys, hockey is so hard to bet, especially when you're looking at these situations where the empty netter can come in and everything. You've got to find some sort of value out there on the ice and players that you trust. You stick to those players that you've circled on your prop betting. Now, if you're looking at Toronto here, you've really got to look at Nylander. Nylander has been absolutely phenomenal out there on the ice. And then Tavares. So Nylander for the anytime goal, he was plus 120 before the show kicked off. I'm guessing he's right around the same. He has 3 goals in his last 3 games. So you definitely want to look at Nylander to continue. The Ducks, really, they allow John Gibson to be peppered. So I do expect Nylander to at least walk away with an assist. I would expect the goal in this one, though. And then Tavares. Tavares for 4+ shots on goal. He's coming in at minus 122. When we look at Tavares, his last 15 games, he's averaging 4.3 shots on goal per game. So he's gone over 3.5. So 4+ in 13 of his last 15 games. I absolutely love him to come out and get those shots versus the Ducks. Now, when we look at that first period, and like I said, the first period over 1.5 is too juicy at minus 156. When we break down what these teams have done as of late in that first period, the Ducks have hit the first period over at home in 3 of their last 4 games. So they're contributing. Their average goals per first period is just under 1 at like 0.8. And when we look at the Maple Leafs here, they're 2-2 in the first period on the road and 20-15 over in the first period as well. So I do think that first period, if you're trying to find that plus money, both teams to score in the first period, I'm just going to give you guys the odds again. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but that's what I mean. Like when you're really looking at over 1.5, you've got to look at if you think both teams will score, and that's why it's going over, because that's where you're going to find the plus money. Plus 146 for the over for both teams to score in the first period. So that is an over 1.5, but you need both of those teams to score it. Yeah, it's so challenging when picking sides, trying to find that plus money in hockey, unless you're betting the dogs. And you guys, you really got to look at those dogs. You got to look at the situations for the favorites and the look ahead. There is no look ahead here. Toronto on the back-to-back. There's also no look ahead for the Washington Capitals and the New Jersey Devils, because this is a rivalry game between the Metro. So in classic cases where there is a divisional matchup on deck, that's where you can start looking at those dogs, but you just definitely have to be careful. You had the under 6.5 in the Panthers game. Panthers minus 1.5, lost both 4-3. That's super frustrating when that comes in. That is for sure. But you guys, that is everything. Again, sorry we're late. We will be on time tomorrow. This camera, I turned it off last night and then it just didn't want to connect. So have a good one. Keep smiling. Let's make some freaking money out there on the ice. These games are kicking off right away, and Game Time Decisions is still underway. So make sure you head on over, check out the show. Lots of great bets. And if you haven't downloaded the SportsGrid app, I know a couple of you did. I got those messages. So great job downloading it. There's so much on there, prop bets, everything like that. You can follow your favorite hosts like myself over there, and you'll see all of the short content videos as well as clips from the show under each host that you follow. So go on over, check it out. If you're watching on YouTube, those links are below in the description of this video. And if you're watching on Twitter, I will link it right below. You guys, all the best. Let's make some freaking money. Bye now.